Hey everybody, Scotia here with a video that I wasn't expecting to make today, but it's one that I'm very interested in. Just as a heads up though, I am recording this in a new place, so if it sounds different or there's noises in the background that aren't normally there, I'm sorry. I'm not going to make this a permanent place, I don't think. So if it sounds different or worse, sorry, this should hopefully just be a one-time thing. So, as many of you probably already know, last night was the Street Fighter V summer presentation where Capcom developers went over Season 5 and they did showcases on Oro and Akira, both of whom look great. But the question that was on everybody's mind was, who's the last character? Who's the final character that they're going to add to Street Fighter V? And there were a lot of bets and a lot of predictions. I think most people were expecting a popular character like Dudley or Makoto. Some people were expecting an SNK guest character like Terry. I was kind of thinking it was going to be Hagar because I felt like that was a easy choice that would have pleased people, but wouldn't have really forced Capcom to use a more popular character that they could later save for Street Fighter 6. So that was kind of my opinion on it. I did see some people think that it was going to be a new character that tied into Street Fighter 6. I didn't think it was going to be that, so I was completely wrong on that, and props to the people who did guess that. You're completely right. Because they revealed Luke. And if you don't know who Luke is, you're not alone, because nobody else knows who Luke is. Because Luke is a completely brand new character, and as described by Takayuki Nakayama, he is somebody who will be expanding the world of Street Fighter, and somebody who will be giving us a glimpse into the future of Street Fighter. And this is very, very interesting, because what a lot of people are thinking right now is that Luke might be the next protagonist of Street Fighter. That's very, very interesting, and because we know Street Fighter 6 is happening. Like if you don't know at this point that Street Fighter 6 is happening or is in development, then you've been living under a rock. Because in the last year or so, there's been so many leaks and rumors. Like it feels like everybody knows now. Like it's probably one of the worst kept secrets in the industry at the moment that Street Fighter 6 is in development. We've had leaks that it was in the data hacking that Capcom had last year when Ono left. Like the doors blew open for a bit and like a ton of info came out about how Street Fighter 6 was having issues, and that's why Ono got demoted and then eventually left, and that was why they did this emergency season of DLC of Street Fighter 5, because Street Fighter 6 was being delayed internally. So we've known it was happening for a while now, and in retrospect, doing a character like Luke makes complete sense, because there's a good chance he already exists in Street Fighter 6, and he's existed for a while now in Street Fighter 6, and the emergency season for Street Fighter 5 has allowed Capcom to kind of go, okay, we need to make new content while we kind of fix this game. Oh cool, how about we go and kind of, I was going to say demake, but I don't think demake's the right word. But how about we take this character that we've already made in the new game and just kind of put him into Street Fighter 5, and we can kind of tie that gap. I think it's a very clever idea. I'm very interested in how this is going to play out. I think a good comparison would be like, what if in Alpha 1 or 2 they added a character and it was Alex, and it was a younger Alex, but it was an Alex saying like, oh hey, here's the next character who's going to be the main character of the next Street Fighter game, but we're kind of introducing him now. That's kind of like what this might end up being. The assumption that this is the main character I think comes from the fact that it's him, if that makes sense. Like, if they're going to add anybody from Street Fighter 6, if they're going to add a new character, you'd surely add the most important character, and I feel like this means Luke is the most important character that's being introduced for Street Fighter 6. So there's a lot of questions at the moment, and there's a lot of theories going around. Some I think are interesting, some I think are weird. I feel like everybody's trying to like make this guy linked to some other character. I've heard he's Ken's son, which is weird. I don't know, like surely you'd know Mel exists already. Some people think he's Guile's son, which again, Guile has a daughter. Some people think he's Charlie's son, which is possible. So I'm now hearing online that people think he's Joe. He's Joe's son from Street Fighter 1, which is just like, okay, I didn't, not where I would have gone, but okay. I don't think he's Joe's son. I don't think he's anybody's son. I think he's just going to be Luke. I think he's going to be somebody who is his own person. I don't think he's really going to be linked to anybody. I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong. That's just my kind of personal theory at the moment. I think he's just going to be Luke. He's going to be his own person. He's not going to be related to anybody else in Street Fighter. My personal thoughts on the character so far, because he's very polarizing at the moment. I feel like a lot of people either are interested in the character or they just hate him already, because I completely understand why people might already not like him, because he's another blonde white guy in a game that is just full of blonde white guys, or just blonde white people in general. Like, there's just so many. I think I saw someone online say that there's 18 characters in Street Fighter 5 now who are blonde white people in a game out of like 40 something characters, which is crazy. Like, that almost half of this game's roster is just blonde people. That's crazy to me. Personally speaking, the design I'm not that big of a fan of. I think it's okay. I think it works okay as like a costume. Like, if this was like a kind of like a DLC side costume, I think it works okay. I do like the color of the shorts, the blue and the yellow, you know, with the Capcom theme. He has some cool little nods on the shorts, like you have CPS written on the side, which is a nod to the CPS engine that Capcom used in the arcade days. He also has Bug Killer written on his shorts, I've seen. No idea what that means, we'll probably find out soon. Not a fan of the tattoos, like the stars and the stripes on his chest. I feel like that's a bit too much. I'm quite a fan of his hair and his face in general. I just like it. Overall, he's not a character I'm terribly like, let's go, like, he's okay. I'm sure he'll grow on me. But yeah, very, very polarizing character. I feel like he's already kind of like getting himself and the future of Street Fighter off on the wrong foot for a lot of people, because, you know, this is kind of telling people like, hey, here's the future of Street Fighter. It's the same type of characters you've been getting all like for the last 5 years, you know, just blonde white guys. It's like, oof, you know. So yeah, this is kind of a more rambly video. It's kind of my reaction. It's kind of similar to the Rose video I did, but I allowed myself to sleep on it because quite a lot of people said in the comments of the Rose video, and I completely agree with them, that I was very knee-jerky with that one. I was very jumping to conclusions that possibly weren't there. I don't necessarily disagree with what I said in that video. I still believe that. I'm just not as kind of passionate about it, I guess. I'm not like, oh, this is the worst thing ever. I still think it's an awful idea and I don't want it to happen, but I'm not like, this is the end of Street Fighter. Street Fighter is just dead now. You know, we're all fucked. I'm not like that anymore. I'm very interested in Luke. I think I'm more interested in his character story than the actual character, because I just want to see where they're going with him and the connections to Street Fighter 6. Like, because I'm very excited for Street Fighter 6. I've been wanting to move on from Street Fighter 5 for like 2-3 years now. It's a game I very much I had my fun with it. It was a good game. I kind of just lost interest, and now I'm like, I want to move on. I want a new game. I want a new visual style. I want new mechanics. I want new characters. I want new everything. I've been ready to move on for so long now, and it's like we're finally getting that. Like Street Fighter, you know, I've said in the title and the thumbnail, like Street Fighter 6 is coming, and that might be clickbait because it might not be. People might be jumping to conclusions, but I personally feel like we're now heading towards Street Fighter 6. Like, this is going to be this is the start of the journey that leads us towards Street Fighter 6. And it's very exciting. I'm very excited. I'm going to be covering Street Fighter 6 a lot on this channel when that eventually comes around, because that's a game I'm going to be very interested in. It's a game I'm very nervous about because as Street Fighter 5 went on, I got more and more mixed with the direction they went in. There's actually a line that Nakayama says that I completely agree with, and it's hang on, let me find it. He says, Street Fighter 5 has been developed to pay homage to the past. And I completely agree, because I feel like one of my biggest issues with Street Fighter 5 was that it never really had its own identity. It kind of picked and chose from different Street Fighter games, like even more so when the arcade edition came out and you had all the 30th anniversary arcade modes based on each game. And that was really cool and I enjoyed it. But like, I felt like it really took away from the identity of Street Fighter 5, because I feel like Street Fighter 5 had an identity when it came out. like the look and the feel of it, and the stages and the story, it was, it was its own thing. But now I look at it and it's like there's so many stages from like Street Fighter 2 and Alpha. It's like there's music that's remixed, which is really, really cool, but like all the music is just remixed from previous games. Very little of Street Fighter 5 feels like its own thing to me anymore, which is a shame, because I enjoyed that game for the first couple of years, but then as the more they kind of started pandering to like the past and like dipping into like stuff that already existed, the less I got interested. So him saying that Luke is a glimpse into the future is very exciting for me, because I do want to move on. I don't want to cling to the past of Street Fighter forever. I know this is a series with a lot of history, and I know each game before it has so much legacy and history, but I don't want to be stuck doing the same, like covering the same stuff with the same characters and the same stages. Like if I see a Street Fighter 2 stage in Street Fighter 6, I'm gonna scream. Like I'm sick of seeing, like I don't want Honda's bathhouse anymore. I don't want Ryu's stage. I don't want stop giving me stages that have already existed. Like if I want to fight somebody on Sakura's stage, I'll play Alpha 2. If I want to listen to Jazzy NYC, I'll play Third Strike. Like do something new. Anyway, that turned into a bit of a rant. You may have noticed the bloody Alex on the thumbnail. I kind of did that as a little thing, because one thing that, the only kind of sad thing I'm feeling about Luke, or the only negative thing I'm thinking about Luke, is that like, wow, this dude is pretty much just Alex. Like, this really feels like Capcom in 2021 going like, hey, how about we do Alex, but we do him in a game that's not going to kill the franchise for 10 years. Like, I don't know if I'm just alone in thinking that, but like, it's a blonde guy with a kind of MMA / kind of like wrestling, style. Like he's American. I assume he's American. He definitely looks American. Blonde. Everything about Luke really screams like new protagonist for a new era of Street Fighter, and he's blonde and he has like a wrestling MMA moves. And so that's just Alex to me. And it really feels like it kind of really hit home that like, man, Alex is never getting that protagonist role again. And I kind of knew deep down he was never getting it again. But like, to me, this seems really obvious that it's like, yeah, Alex is a thing of the past now. Like, I don't think they're gonna drop Alex or anything. I don't think they're gonna drop Alex's storyline. I do think they'll continue it. I just don't think we'll ever see Alex in a main role like ever again. Like, he's never gonna be the protagonist. He's never gonna be on the focal point. He's never gonna be on the posters or the box art. Which is a shame, and really, really makes me sad, because on top of Alex being my favorite Street Fighter character, I just, one of the reasons I love Street Fighter 3 so much is that it's just so different. It kind of goes into what I was saying about doing something new. Like Street Fighter 3 at its core was just, let's just shake things up, let's do something new. Let's just respect the past, but like, don't cling to it. And I really cling to Alex for that. Like, I really, I appreciate Alex being the face of that kind of like the face of the new generation. And it is sad that like he's probably never going to get that spot again. And it's just a shame, but it is what it is. We'll always have Street Fighter 3. I'll always be able to play it. I'll always be able to appreciate it. So at the end of the day, it's sad, but it's not the end of the world. But yeah, it is a bit of a bummer. So I'm gonna go. This was just a quick video, just to kind of give my thoughts, kind of talk about it a bit. There's nothing really more to go off at the moment. I will definitely be covering Luke more when he comes out. I think they said he's coming out in November. So in November, when his character story drops, I'll definitely be doing a video on it. I'll definitely be analysing kind of like what I think is going on, if anything significant drops. We'll definitely be covering it, is basically what I'm saying. So don't worry, there will be more Luke content on this channel in the near future. And if he is the main character of Street Fighter 6, then there's going to be a lot of Luke content coming up. So yeah, that's it. There's other theories I could get into. I think the only other thing I'm thinking of that is interesting is there's a line that Luke says about something like he wants to like he either wants to meet a certain person, or like he wants to be like a certain person. And I straight away thought he was talking about Ryu. because I feel like it's every character's ultimate destiny to end up being obsessed with Ryu, because obviously Ryu is the peak of the fighters. You know, he's one of the strongest, he's the most famous in the world of Street Fighter. So I like straight away thought that he was talking about Ryu, which he could be, he couldn't be. I think, you know, there's a lot of characters in Street Fighter. He could be talking about anybody, but that was my opinion. I felt like it was Ryu. But yeah, other than that, there's really not a lot to go off. I've talked about the design, I've talked about the links to Street Fighter 6, I gave my thoughts on Street Fighter 6 versus Street Fighter 5, well, not really versus, but, so yeah, there's nothing really left for me to do. Thank you for listening to the video, very rambly, very and ahhing, I know. Nobody said they hate it yet, so I'm going to keep doing it. Hopefully you like the video. The fan on my laptop is going insane. I'm very sorry if you can hear it while recording. I'm not sure if you can. I use an omnidirectional mic, so hopefully you won't be able to hear it. But sorry if you do. I'm going to go now because I've been waffling for too long. Very excited for the future of Street Fighter. We're finally moving on from Street Fighter 5, it seems. I'm very excited for that. Luke is... I'm okay with him, but I'm also kind of like, there's elements of him I'm mixed on. Overall though, he gets a thumbs up from me, I guess. But it's not a full thumbs up, it's like 3/4 of the way up. But we'll see more of him. I'm not going to completely write him off yet, it's way too early for that. But yeah, cool, I'm going to go. I've said that 5 times now, and I'm going to mean it. Thank you for watching, I always appreciate the support. We recently, not recently, but a couple of weeks ago, we hit over 100 subscribers. It really makes me happy. I'm very thankful for everybody who watches my videos, who likes them, who comments, who subscribes. It really means a lot to me. Never really had any goals when I started this channel. I still don't. I just like making videos, and I'll keep making these videos as long as I have the time and the interest in doing so. So thank you so much. I'm very, I'm always appreciative of everything that people can say or do. Feedback, I'm always looking for it. I'm always welcoming of it. Thank you for watching, and I shall see you guys later.
We await your return, warrior.